Good morning. September 14th. Beware of your expectations, for they become your reality. Alita Darby. Safeguarding our valuables only makes sense. Our homes, our families, our reputations are precious beyond price. Perhaps no valuable, however, needs more careful safeguarding than the integrity of our thoughts. For our habitual thoughts become reality. If we allow ourselves, no matter how subconsciously, to mindlessly assume that the world's ways are predictable, fair, or controllable, then every knock that jostles us will be interpreted as a startling personal attack. We can easily see ourselves as victims of life rather than participants. If, however, we make sure to keep a balanced grasp of reality, many of the inconveniences, slights, and absurdities of life will be seen as just that, life as it is. Many, perhaps most, of the things that happen are not necessarily personal, not necessarily pointed directly at us. When we expect life to be anything but what it is, we set ourselves up for unnecessary disappointment. My vision of life as it should be is rarely the same as life as it is. My vision of life as it should be is rarely the same as life as it is. I think my camera's about to fall. Hold on. Yeah, it is. There we go. Yeah. Where was this reading yesterday? Had a bit of a temper tantrum because I was wallowing in the state of frustration that I occasionally experience for the present, because the parts of my past that I don't want anymore are over, and the parts of my future that I'm building towards having aren't here yet, and I'm here existing in the present. Which is fine most days. I'm pretty happy with my present, and then some days something will happen that throws me, and I'm just kind of like stuck. My vision of life as it should be, it's rarely the same as life as it is. I'm kind of stuck like just staring at that vision of life as I want it, and comparing it to my reality that I'm living with, and being really pissed about it. And the funny thing is, so I have a vision for what I want in my life, and as it mentioned, life is unpredictable, but I've always had that vision. It's just that I didn't have the perspective when I was younger that I have now. And if I look at my past from the perspective that I have now, the path that my life has taken and will take is actually rather obvious and predictable, but it's one of those hindsight is 2020 things. Like, of course, the chubby, poor, nerdy, disenfranchised girl with emotionally abusive step-parent, and who suddenly was in poverty because of her parents' like separation, and dealt with being bullied at school. Of course that girl grew up to be an addict in an abusive relationship for over a decade, who built her self-worth around this one person who was occasionally nice to her but abused her the rest of the time the way everybody else did. Like, of course that happened. Somewhat less predictable, but still kind of course, is I tested in the top 5% of this fucking country growing up, so of course I eventually found a way to use my intellect to get out of a negative situation. Of course I did. Of course. You know, super predictable stuff from the outside, and having lived it, looking back at my past, I'm like, oh yeah, obviously. And so, the lack of predictability of my future, based on where I'm at now, that's the stuff that makes me kind of nervous and kind of uncomfortable, because it could be great, it could not. I could have peaked already, and this could be it. This could be as good as it gets, and it's not that bad. But my vision of life as it should be is really the same as life as it is, yeah. But I still get caught up in that vision of life as I want it to be. Even though I can in most days like understand and feel that many, perhaps most of the things that happen to us are not necessarily personal. None of it's personal. Literally none of it's personal. Existence isn't a personal thing. It's only personal to the person experiencing it, but it's otherwise, there's billions of people on this planet all living completely varied experiences, and assuming at any given point that my experience is the center focus of the universe as a whole, which I do sometimes, is just a form of narcissistic megalomania that I think, I mean, anybody can experience and have, because ours is the only perspective that we have access to for the most part. So I do throw temper tantrums sometimes. I did yesterday because the reality around me isn't playing out the way that I wanted it to. My vision of life as it should be isn't the same as life as it is right now, but it rarely is. So this is true. This reading would have been really useful yesterday, but I'm in a better mood than I was, and today I'm okay with this truth that my vision of life as it should be is really the same as life as it is. I'm okay with it. Okay with that. It's true. I have to be okay with it. It doesn't matter whether I'm okay with it or not, because that whole life not being personal thing is still going to be true whether I'm okay with it or not. But today, I'm going to engage in a stupid, like, a great amount of self-care. So excited about it. And live in the present as opposed to worrying about those visions of life. Like, a lot of that is just like letting yourself get outside of the present moment, or being ungrateful for the present moment. Yesterday I was in the present moment and I was pissed about it, but I can be in the present moment and be pissed about it and still be grateful if I work at it, still working at it. My vision of life as it should be is really the same as life as it is. Learning to accept that. I don't have to like it. It doesn't matter. Have a good morning. Hi. It is my genuine hope that you got something positive out of this video, and if you did, I would really appreciate it if you liked the video, maybe shared it with somebody you know, and then subscribe to my YouTube channel. Have a good day.